Welcome everyone to our Jewel of the Day video series. I'm Dr. Julie Tran, naturopathic doctor and licensed acupuncturist. Did you know that you have 12 pulses that Chinese medicine practitioners look for? Yep, that's right, I said 12, 6 on each wrist. However, today we're only going to go over 6 main ones. Each of the 6 main ones correspond to an organ. So on your left hand, you have the heart, the liver, and the left kidney. Now on your right hand, you're going to have the lung, the spleen and stomach, and the right kidney. You might have noticed that I said kidney twice. That is correct, because as Chinese medicine practitioners, we differentiate between the left and right kidneys. When I feel for your pulse, I take my 3 fingers and place it right on the radial artery in the wrist. The pulse has 3 sections to it. It has the front, middle, and rear section. Each of those sections correlates to an organ that we discussed earlier. So since I'm taking the pulse on my left wrist, the front section is the heart, the middle section is the liver, and the bottom section or the rear section is the kidney. Now when I'm looking at the rate. So how fast or slow is your pulse moving? But I'm also looking for the length of the pulse. What that means is, do I feel your pulse all the way through 3 of my fingers? If I do, then that's pretty good pulse. But if I only feel it under 1 or 2 fingers, it's considered a short pulse. But if I feel it beyond the 3 fingers, like it feels like it's still going, that's considered a long pulse. I'm also looking at what depth do I feel your pulse at? Which means, when I place my fingers here, do I feel it superficially or do I have to press a little bit harder to feel the pulse? If I can feel it superficially, then that could mean that it's an acute condition, kind of like a cold or flu. But if I have to push down a little bit further to feel it, that means it could be a more chronic condition. I'm also looking for the quality of the pulse. What that means is, what does it feel like underneath my fingers, or what texture is it? Does it feel rough? Does it feel even? Does it feel slippery or kind of like beads rolling under that? All of that information put together gives me a better idea of how your health is doing. Let's take some examples of pulses I've felt in patients over my years as a clinician. So one of the combinations that I feel often is a short and weak pulse. Short and weak pulses kind of mean that there's not enough energy to move the blood around, whereas a short and strong pulse means that there could be some blockages or stagnant energy, which means the blood is not moving quite as well as it could be. Now, I described that there are different texture to pulses, right? So when we're looking at texture or quality of pulses, a wiry pulse, which means it feels like a guitar string, right, is a pulse that can indicate some tension or pain in the body. A floating pulse, like we have discussed before, or superficial pulse, could mean that you just got a recent illness, kind of like a cold or flu. A fast pulse tells me that your body could be experiencing a fever, or there's a heat condition in the area. A slippery pulse, one that feels like there's beads under your fingers, means that you could have some dampness or phlegm, which generally comes from digestive issues that you're not digesting properly. So all of the pulse information that I have gathered, pulse rate, pulse length, pulse depth, and pulse quality, remember quality is what it feels like or the texture of it, gives me a better idea of what's going on so that I can pick the appropriate acupuncture points and the appropriate herbal supplements to help you get to better health. Now that you've learned about the different pulses, go ahead, try and take your own pulse. Take your wrist, do your 3 fingers, and you just decide, is your pulse fast? Is it slow? If you press down further, does it disappear or does it stay there? Or the next time you feel like a cold coming on, take your pulse. Does it feel more superficial to you, meaning it's right at the top? If it does, then that's great. That just means that you're coming down with a cold, nothing more than that. But don't be disappointed if you can't tell the difference between any of the pulses because it takes lots of years of study, and I've been doing this for many years and I'm still refining my skills to this day. I hope this was helpful to you. Stay tuned for our next video. Thanks for watching.